Today on Morning Drive, the Stars will be in action in prime time tonight as Sergio Garcia kicks off his 2018 campaign in the Singapore Open. Then the likes of Rose, Stenson, Kuchar, DJ, Fleetwood, and McIlroy will take to the course in Abu Dhabi. What will you see from the former world number one as he returns to action following an injury-plagued 2017?
Definitely ready to get back and get out there and play golf tournaments again.
And Phil Mickelson has been thrilling galleries for more than 25 years, but he hasn't won since claiming the claret jug in 2013. What has made him so sensational? What continues to fuel his desire to win? And will this be the year he finally joins the elite club of players with a career Grand Slam on their resume? Plus, Bernard Langer makes his season debut this week as the defending champion in Hawaii. After just missing out on a fourth straight Charles Schwab Cup last year, he'll join us to tell you how he intends to reclaim the title this season and continue his pursuit of Hale Irwin's all-time wins record. All that and more today on Morning Drive, January 17th, 2018. And on this date in history, 1995, Arnold Palmer and the entrepreneur Joe Gibbs, yes, they flipped a very big golf ball switch and Golf Channel went on the air for the first time. It gave the United States its first ever single sport cable network. It gave the golfer a place to congregate for news, instruction, tournaments, lifestyle. And yes, the look has changed over the years, but Mr. Palmer's spirit and his love and his joy for this endeavor, oh yes, they remain. As we welcome you appropriately inside Studio AP, happy 23rd anniversary. Damon Hack alongside Charlie Rammer and Paige McKenzie. Big timer, what do you remember about those early days?
Well, I was playing in those days, and I can remember for a PGA Tour event, the one down in Jackson, Mississippi, for example, I would get finished with my round of golf, and they'd put a headset on me and send me out on the golf course to talk about it. And I got to admit, even back then, I enjoyed talking about it a little bit more than I actually enjoyed getting out and playing. But remember, it was such a crazy idea. Everybody said, it'll never work. Well, here we are all these years later with over 1,000 employees. It certainly worked.
It's just amazing to see how far it's come from those days and the inside those studios and now what we have here in Orlando. It's amazing to see the difference.
A dream of these two great men, Mr. Palmer and Mr. Gibbs. We were very lucky to call this home. Also very lucky to say good morning to Lauren Thompson. How are you? Happy anniversary.
Good morning, Damon. I got chills when we showed that footage. And of course, Arnold Palmer, what a man he was, named our studio after him, and his parking spot still outside. Nobody parks there. That's still reserved for the King. Now, we are on the eve, though, of Phil Mickelson, though, making his 2018 season debut. This is what's happening now, and he's doing it at the Career Builder Challenge. Now, lefty, who captured the title back in 2002 and again in 2004, will have to take down a star-studded field if he wants to win the first event of the West Coast Swing, which includes 11 of the top 50 players in the world, but also adding some excitement into the field, John Daly. Also, Patton Kizzire, the most recent winner on the PGA Tour. John Rahm, what a year he had in 2017. Patrick Reed, the 2014 winner of this event. And, of course, the defending champion himself in Hudson Swafford. So for more on these guys, the rest of the players, and other top notes to pay attention to, we send it out to Chantel McCabe.
Well, LT, this week's field at the Career Builder Challenge features world number 3 John Rahm, also tournament ambassador Phil Mickelson, and making their 2018 calendar debuts are Bubba Watson and Patrick Reed. So a ton of star power here in California, and we can't talk about this event without going back to last year and that 59 shot in the third round by Adam Hadwin on Saturday. And at the time, his best finish on the PGA Tour was in 2011, where he finished tied for 4th out of all places, the Canadian Open in his home country. So that 59 gave him a huge confidence boost, and he used that as motivation to win his first PGA Tour event 2 months later at the Valspar. And winning that, he got into the Masters. His life changed personally in a big way as well as professionally. In fact, after he got married, his honeymoon had to be kicked back 7 months because he had to play in the Masters. So a ton has changed in this last year for him, and this is a place that he says he's always had good vibes. In 2016, he finished tied for 6th, and last year he finished with a runner-up. Now, we also have to tell you about a cool story this week. Charlie Ryder, he's an 18-year-old local high school student, and this is the first time that an amateur has gotten a sponsor exemption into this field. And this player has a lot of potential. He's done really well on his local high school team, but he also played in the Australian Open back in November with the likes of Jordan Spieth and Jason Day, and he was one of only 4 American players to make the cut. So that experience gave him a little help for this week, but he says on the nerve scale, it's about a 10 out of 10. So keep an eye on him this week. And of course, world number 3, Jon Rahm, he's going to be talking to the media today, and we'll have that for you tonight on Golf Central. LT?
Thank you so much, Chantel. Well, let's touch on Jon Rahm, the top-ranked player in the field. The 23-year-old Spaniard truly became a household name last year after flying up those rankings, knows how to regularly log in those top 5 finishes, including the Century Tournament of Champions, where he was a runner-up. Now, of the 3 courses in rotation, he's going to start at La Quinta Country Club with the 2-time Masters champion in Bubba Watson, also making his 2018 debut. Now, Bubba and, yes, Jon Rahm, they're going to be teeing it up at 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time, 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:40 local time, so check out for them. Our coverage starts tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So, Damon, that's tomorrow, but we have live golf coming tonight.
We do, and quite the field in Abu Dhabi as well for the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship. Look at this grouping. Tommy Fleetwood, winner of the Race to Dubai. How about the world number 1, Dustin Johnson? And yes, the 4-time major champ in Rory McIlroy making his 2018 debut. They're all grouped together. And for Fleetwood, what a rise it has been. Let's go back. He earned his first European Tour win in 2013 at Glen Eagles. Then he went kind of quiet. Some struggles, lots of missed cuts, but then 1 year ago, broke through again and got that victory in Abu Dhabi. Finished 4th in the U.S. Open, a runner-up in Mexico, a winner at the French Open over the summer, and yes, ultimately, that Race to Dubai. In fact, he was just named the winner of the Seve Ballesteros Award, voted on a vote of his peers as the Player of the Year on the European Tour. But what about those other 2 players in this group, DJ and Rory McIlroy? Time to take your pick. State your case, Paige McKenzie, for which one of these 2 players will have the best 2018.
It's hard to say because they both are coming into this year, one off of an injury-ridden year, and the other, DJ, off of a tremendous year. So I'm going to go with DJ, coming off of what was one of his best years, or the best year of his career. And a lot of it has to do with what could have been. We missed that period of time right after the Masters where he was injured, and I have to think what could have been for 2017, and then also what was for the Tournament of Champions. So moving into the remainder of the year, I've got Dustin Johnson edging out Rory McIlroy, but Charlie, Rory McIlroy, one of the most anticipated returns to golf.
Yes, and certainly DJ's already one up, so he's got a nice start on that. But I was talking about it some of the last few months of last year. I really see Rory McIlroy having a huge year this year. He had the freak accident, and he admitted this week that he's got a heart issue he's got to deal with. Very mild by his own estimation, but it's still a heart issue.
Sure.
But if Rory can get sorted with his health, not have any sort of weird accidents or, pick up Lyme's disease or something, something crazy like that. We've already seen what he can do. I mean, look at what he's done in major championships. Let's not forget who and what we're dealing with here in Rory McIlroy. If you look at the 4 major championships, 2 of them by 8 strokes. In all honesty, the 2 players on the planet that I think can go out and win a major championship and win them by larger record margins are Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy. I think what Rory McIlroy has done the last 2 years hasn't sat very well with him.
Yeah.
You also throw in, equipment changes, all of that. His life is settled now. Married, he's had management issues, the health issues, the whole 9 yards. I think he's going to be highly motivated. I still think he drives a golf ball better than anybody on the planet. He's the only player that I see out there that attacks that driver with no fear whatsoever, that truly lets it rip. If he can figure out how to get a little bit better, actually a lot better with the wedge game, and a little bit better with the putter, I think he's capable of going out and playing the kind of golf that will get him back to the top of the world.
Tell you what, he says he's putting as well as he ever has in practice.
But let me say something about that.
Yeah.
Verbalizing it is a great first step. If you're saying it out loud, and people are going to say, oh, but you got to show me something on the course. You said that in our meeting today. You got to show me something on the course. Well, he does have to show you something on the course, but the first step is saying, I'm putting better. If you start saying that, pretty soon you start believing. You got to fake it till you make it in this game, Damon.
We're talking more about Rory in the next hour. I tell you what, he's putting better. I'm chipping better. Let's send it back over to
I
LC.
love hearing that. Fake it till you make it.
Okay, so another player hoping for more wins this year, Sergio Garcia. He headlines the field this week in the Singapore Open. Now, Garcia is making his first start of 2018 after a 3-win season last year, including his first major championship title at Augusta National. Now, the Singapore Open, it is the third stop in this year's Open qualifying series. The series kicked off in November with the Australian Open, followed by the Joburg Open in December. 6 players so far have earned spots in the Open come July. Now, the Singapore Open is going to offer 4 spots for the leading 4 players not otherwise exempt. The Open qualifying series continues at the Korea Open, Mizuno Open, and 3 PGA Tour stops in the United States, the Dubai Duty Free Irish Open, Aberdeen Investment Scottish Open, and the H&A French Open will all offer 3 spots to players not otherwise exempt. Final qualifying takes place on July 3rd at 4 locations throughout England and Scotland, with the final 12 spots available. The 147th Open will be held July 19th through the 22nd at Carnoustie Golf Links in Scotland. So, Damon, we're looking forward to that. But also, how about that finish yesterday?
An incredible finish, LT, and it's a 19-year-old winner. Yes, 19 years of age, Sung Jae Im. His first start on the Web.com tour, and he gets a 4-shot victory in the Bahamas Great Exuma Classic. He was bogey-free in his final round of 65. Let's go back to the highlights, because he deserved that water-dousing celebration and that trophy. These great players, Charlie Rammer, they come from all over the globe. Here's his approach shot on 3.
Yeah, and as we look at this highlight, guys, I've always contended that one of the best ways to learn this game is copy someone who you admire, especially if they have a similar body type. So I see a lot of Hideki Matsuyama when I look at this, with the putting, with the pause, with the shape of the golf swing. I mean, clearly Matsuyama is someone that he's looked at and tried to copy at some level and say, I want to go out and play like Matsuyama does. And it's obviously working. This is a big win from a young player under really tough conditions, Paige.
And I would say that the tough conditions were all week long, with stops and starts, with rain delays and difficult conditions on the golf course with a lot of standing water, and he was able to perform under that kind of pressure as an untested non-winner worldwide.
Exactly, and this is a meaningful win for a young player, because when you go, you can see from the coverage, this is a golf course that doesn't have a lot of room, and obviously you're dealing with a lot of wind this time of year. He had control of his golf ball the entire week. And there's something about having control of your golf ball under tough conditions on TV, winning on the Web.com, that's, you know, maybe a little bit more meaningful than if it was a wider golf course, something that's a little bit more standard that you see week in and week out. Playing shots like that, winning with a nice margin of victory and never looking stressed. This is something that you can absolutely build on early in the season. This is a player that's going to earn his PGA Tour card this season on the Web.com. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite a statement for a player. You saw the weather. You had some rain. You had some sunshine. It was mixing in and out. You had to spend some time under an umbrella. But at the end of the day, it was Sung Jae Im getting that 4-shot victory over Carlos Ortiz. We mentioned that he was bogey-free in his final round. He was also bogey-free in his first round as well. Paige and Charlie, what can we learn?
Yep, Paige, what can we learn from the second youngest player to ever win on the Web.com tour?
You know, the biggest thing, you pointed it out, the tempo is a lot like Hideki Matsuyama, and it was a slow, a methodical way that he went about his business. And it wasn't just the full swing, it was everything throughout his bag. And what impressed me the most about him is that no matter the circumstance, no matter the pressure, no matter whether it was the first round or fourth round, it was the same kind of tempo, Charlie.
Yeah.
It's really important. We can go ahead and roll these shots to be able to be yourself in spite of the pressure, and he definitely owns this type of rhythm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you're feeling the heat and you're 19 years old and you're trying to win for the first time in a big event, to be able to go out there and trust yourself and stay in that rhythm and basically play in a way that says, you know what, I don't care where the golf ball goes. I'm going to make my golf swing and be able to just trust that it's going to go in the right place. That's tough to do at this age.
It is. And I would say for a lot of players that are out there trying to say, well, am I a fast swinger? Am I a slow swinger? Focus on that first 3 feet of your full swing. And then that'll kind of give you the indication, do you take it back really fast? Do you take it back really slow? How are you most successful? And then you can translate into all parts of the game in a way that he did.
Yeah, great point. There's a lot of really good players that have a different rhythm. There's not one rhythm that works for everybody. What really good players have in common is that rhythm is consistent throughout their entire bag, their entire game, and it also is consistent in their personalities. So you don't have any fast talkers that are slow swingers, you know. So that's the way that works. Right. Great point, Paige. Right now, let's check in with LT. What you got for us?
You got it. Well, first off, I've got our travel insider with me, Matt Janella. Good morning. How you doing?
Fast talker, slow swing. I'm still trying to figure that out.
You're not checking off any boxes in there, too. No. However, though, we are going to transition into what's coming up. Now, they were just talking about the young guys. Let's talk about the seasoned vets, because the PGA Tour champions are getting ready to officially get their season started. Many were in the field at the Diamond Resorts Invitational, but Bernhard Langer is the defending champion. He's coming up to tell us what he was up to in the off-season, and word has it included quite the family trip, even some competing with his son.
Yeah, he says he puts the clubs away in the off-season. Hard to believe from Bernhard Langer. Professional golf has been island hopping from Maui to Oahu, and now the PGA Tour champions are on the Big Island. Coming up, we're taking a closer look at island dynamics and a list of value golf in Hawaii. It actually exists. I'm going to share it with you.
Good to hear. Okay, something else that makes that island time better, a nice cold drink. Now, adult concoctions are one thing, but how about a way to love your body back? We've got a registered dietitian to the pros. She's going to join me up in Arnie's Cafe, Amber Pelicani. She's got the do's and don'ts of smoothies, because you could be betraying all the good that you are trying to do. Now, something else that I know Matt is not going to think is good is this sight out there on the golf course. Now, a python is one thing, a gator is another. Put them all together, this is exactly what happened at Fiddler's Creek Golf Club. Matt, you're
in
cringing
Florida,
already.
this Fiddler's Creek
Naples,
in Florida, that literally will give me nightmare. That is going to cause me nightmare. The fact that both of those exist in my state in which I live in right now, and that is happening on a golf course, I will talk about nightmares for the future.
They were pretty still for a while, Paige and Damon. Not too bad, but this did cause quite the backup on the 10th hole. I wonder why.
Where's
That's like Tom Brady versus Russell Wilson. You can't root for either one.
I'm taking
the gator did eventually drag the python into the water.
I'm afraid.
I want them both to die of exhaustion.
The gator won that battle.
Go away.
Hate to say.
How about that, huh?
Hope y'all enjoyed it.